The garage door creaked open just as Enzo's lips met mine, and there stood my father, his face twisting from confusion to rage in an instant. "What the hell is this?" he bellowed, dropping the toolbox with a clang that echoed like a gunshot. I froze, my heart slamming against my ribs, knowing in that split second that everything I'd hidden for years was about to explode. My name is Jordan Hayes, and I grew up in the quiet suburbs of Denver, Colorado, where everyone knew everyone else's business, but no one talked about the things that really mattered. At 22, I was still living at home, working part-time at a local coffee shop while figuring out my life after dropping out of community college. Enzo Thompson had been my best friend since middle school. Tall, athletic, with that easy smile that made girls swoon and guys envy him. But for me, it was more. We'd shared secrets, late-night talks, and eventually, stolen moments that confirmed what I'd suspected about myself since I was 15. I was gay. That afternoon in the garage started innocently enough. Enzo had come over to help fix my old bike, a rusty relic from high school days. We were laughing about some dumb joke when he leaned in, his hand brushing my arm, and the air shifted. "Jordan," he whispered, "I can't keep pretending anymore." Before I could respond, he kissed me, soft, tentative, but full of the pent-up emotion we'd both ignored for too long. It was our first real kiss, the kind that made the world fade away. Until it didn't. Dad's outburst shattered the moment. He stormed in, grabbing Enzo by the collar and shoving him against the workbench. "Get out of my house, you pervert!" he yelled. Enzo stumbled back, his eyes wide with fear, muttering apologies as he bolted for the door. I stood there, speechless, my face burning with shame and terror. Dad turned to me, his fists clenched. "Is this what you've been doing behind my back? With him? In my own goddamn garage?" I tried to explain, but the words stuck in my throat. "Dad, it's not. He cut me off with a raised hand, his voice dropping to a dangerous low. "Don't. Just don't. Go to your room. We'll talk about this later." As I slunk upstairs, the weight of what had happened pressed down on me. This wasn't just about getting caught. It was the unraveling of the facade I'd built to survive in a family where being different meant being wrong. That night, dinner was a silent battlefield. Mom sensed the tension but said nothing, her eyes darting between us. My younger sister, Emily, chattered about school, oblivious at first. But Dad couldn't hold it in. Midway through the meal, he slammed his fork down. "Your brother here has something to share," he announced, glaring at me. "Tell them, Jordan. Tell them what I walked in on." I felt like I was drowning. Enzo and we're. The words wouldn't come. Mom's face paled. "What is it, honey?" she asked softly. Dad snorted. "He's queer, that's what. Caught him kissing that Thompson boy like some kind of freak." The room erupted. Emily gasped, her eyes wide. Mom covered her mouth, tears welling up. "Oh, Jordan," she whispered, but it wasn't acceptance. It was pity mixed with disbelief. Dad ranted about how he'd raised me better, how this was a phase, a choice I'd made to spite him. "In this house, we follow God's rules," he said, invoking the conservative Baptist values he drilled into us since childhood. "You think you can just be like that? Not under my roof." I argued back for the first time, my voice shaking. "It's not a choice, Dad. It's who I am." But he wasn't listening. He stormed out, leaving the family in pieces. That night, I lay awake, replaying the scene. Enzo texted me, "I'm sorry. We need to talk." But talking felt impossible now. The secret was out, and the fallout was just beginning. The next day at work, I could barely focus. Customers blurred together as my mind raced. What if Dad kicked me out? What about Enzo? His family was even more traditional, pillars of the community with his dad running for local office. If this got out, it could ruin everything for him. When my shift ended, Enzo was waiting outside, leaning against his truck. "Hey," he said, his voice tentative. We drove to a secluded park, the same one where we'd shared our first confessions months ago. "Your dad. He hates me now," Enzo said, staring at the ground. "It's not you," I replied. "It's us." It's me. We talked for hours, dissecting the kiss, the risks, the feelings we'd buried under friendship. Enzo admitted he'd known he was gay since high school but hid it to fit in, captain of the soccer team, dating girls to keep up appearances. I thought if I ignored it, it'd go away, he confessed. But then you made it real. I felt a mix of relief and dread. Being with him felt right, but the world around us screamed otherwise. As we parted, he squeezed my hand. We'll figure this out, he promised. But deep down, I wondered if we could. Back home, the atmosphere was frigid. Dad avoided me. Mom hovered with forced normalcy. Emily cornered me in the hallway. Is it true? She asked, her voice small. I nodded, and to my surprise, she hugged me. I don't care. You're still my brother. Her acceptance was a lifeline, but it couldn't mend the growing rift with Dad. Over the next week, the pressure built. Dad insisted I see Pastor Reynolds for guidance. I refused, sparking more arguments. You're throwing your life away, he shouted one night. What about your future? Marriage? Kids? The American dream? His words cut deep, echoing my own fears. Was I selfish for pursuing this? Was love worth the pain it caused? Enzo faced his own battles. His parents grounded him after an anonymous tip, likely from a neighbor who'd seen us. They think it's a phase, he told me over a secret call. But if they knew how I feel about you. We met in hidden spots, our relationship a fragile secret amid the chaos. One evening, as I snuck out to see him, I overheard Mom and Dad arguing. He's our son, Tom, Mom pleaded. We can't just push him away. Dad's response chilled me. If he chooses this path, he chooses to leave. The words hung like a threat, forcing me to confront the cost of my truth. As the days blurred, the tension escalated. Rumors spread at work, whispers about that Hayes kid. Customers gave me side glances, and my boss pulled me aside. Keep your personal life out of here, he warned. Society's judgment was subtle but suffocating, a reminder that in our town, being gay meant being an outsider. Enzo suggested we come clean together, but I hesitated. What if it destroys everything? I asked. He pulled me close. What if hiding does? His words lingered, a spark of hope in the storm. But hope felt dangerous when betrayal loomed on the horizon. The anonymous letter arrived on a Tuesday, slipped under our front door like a venomous snake. It was addressed to Dad, typed in bold letters. Your son is corrupting our community. Ask him about Enzo Thompson. Dad read it aloud at breakfast, his face reddening with fury. Who sent this? He demanded, crumpling the paper. I knew then that our secret wasn't just family business anymore. It was public ammunition. The letter ignited a firestorm. Dad confronted me immediately, accusing me of dragging the family name through the mud. People are talking, Jordan. At church, at work. Everyone knows now. I denied knowing who sent it, but suspicion gnawed at me. Was it a neighbor? A coworker? Or worse, someone closer? Enzo got a similar note at his house, warning his parents about deviant behavior. His dad, the aspiring councilman, flipped. This could tank my campaign, he yelled, grounding Enzo indefinitely and confiscating his phone. We resorted to old-school notes passed through a mutual friend, our communication reduced to scraps of paper like forbidden lovers in a bygone era. The isolation hit hard. At home, Mom tried mediating, suggesting family therapy. We can work through this, she said, her voice hopeful. But Dad shot it down. Therapy? He needs prayer, not some liberal nonsense. Their marriage strained under the weight, arguments echoing through the walls late at night. I felt guilty, like my identity was a bomb I detonated in our living room. One afternoon, Emily confided in me. Dad's been talking to Uncle Mike about sending you away. Uncle Mike ran a reparative camp in the Rockies, the kind whispered about in church circles, places that promised to fix people like me. The thought terrified me. I won't go, I told her, but doubt crept in. What if resisting meant losing my family forever? Desperate for advice, I reached out to an old high school teacher, Mr. Larson, who'd come out years ago. We met at a coffee shop outside town. It's tough, kid, he said, sipping his latte. Society's changing, but not fast enough for folks like your dad. He shared his story, disowned by his parents, rebuilding alone. You have to decide what's worth fighting for. His words resonated, but they also highlighted the stakes. Love versus legacy. That night, Enzo managed to sneak out. We met at an abandoned lot, the moon casting long shadows. My parents are pushing me to date Sarah from church, he admitted, his voice breaking. Sarah was the perfect cover. Pretty, pious, everything his family wanted. I can't do it, Jordan. But if I don't? The implication hung heavy. Pretend or perish. We held each other, the world shrinking to just us. Run away with me, he whispered impulsively. The idea was tempting, a fresh start in a big city like San Francisco where we could be ourselves. But reality crashed in. We have nothing, I said. No money, no plan. The dream faded, replaced by harsh choices. Back home, the pressure peaked. Dad cornered me in the kitchen. I've signed you up for Uncle Mike's program. You leave in a week. His tone was final, no room for debate. Panic surged. You can't force me, I protested. He leaned in, eyes cold. Watch me. This is for your own good. I stormed out, driving aimlessly until I ended up at Enzo's window, tossing pebbles like in some cliched movie. He climbed down and we talked in his truck. If they send you away, I'll lose you, he said, tears streaming. In that moment, desperation bred a plan. We'd tell his parents everything, force a united front. The next day, we did. Enzo's living room became a war zone. His mom gasped, his dad exploded. You're confusing him, he accused me. Enzo stood firm.
No, Dad.
I love him. The word love hung in the air, a declaration that shifted the dynamic. But instead of understanding, it fueled rage. His dad kicked me out, threatening to call the police if I returned. The betrayal came swift. That evening, Enzo called, his voice hollow. They gave me an ultimatum. End it or get cut off. College tuition, his car, everything on the line. I don't know what to do, he sobbed. I reassured him, but fear gnawed. Would he choose me? Society's claws dug deeper. At work, a regular customer sneered. Heard about you, Hayes. Keep your distance. The comments stung. Reminders of the prejudice lurking beneath polite smiles. Even friends distanced themselves, texts going unanswered. Mom pulled me aside one night. I love you, Jordan, but your father's hurting too. He grew up in a different time. Her words offered a glimpse of empathy, but they couldn't erase the divide. What about me? I asked. Am I just collateral? As the deadline for the camp loomed, I weighed options. Fight, flee, or fold. Enzo's silence grew ominous, days without contact. When he finally reached out, his message was cryptic. Meet me at the park.
Urgent.
I arrived to find him pacing, eyes red. I can't do this anymore, he said. My heart dropped. What do you mean? He looked away. My family, the town. It's too much. The words hit like a punch. He was breaking up with me to save himself. Betrayal burned hot. After everything? I yelled. He apologized, but it rang hollow. I love you, but I have to think about my future. As he walked away, I collapsed on a bench, the weight of loss crushing me. Alone, I faced the mirror of my choices. Had I pushed too hard? Was love a luxury I couldn't afford? The questions swirled as I prepared to confront Dad, knowing the battle was far from over. The camp loomed like a prison sentence, its brochure promising renewal through faith, but reeking of coercion. With Enzo's defection fresh, I felt utterly isolated, a shipwreck survivor clinging to debris. Dad drove me there himself, the 2-hour ride silent except for the hum of the engine and his occasional sighs. This will help you, son, he muttered as we pulled up to the rustic cabins nestled in the mountains. I wanted to scream, but numbness had set in. Uncle Mike greeted us with a firm handshake and a sermon smile. We'll get him straightened out, Tom. The word straighten twisted like a knife. As Dad left, he hugged me awkwardly. I love you, he said, but it felt conditional, tethered to change. The first days were a blur of group sessions, Bible studies, and testimonies from ex-gays who claimed victory over their struggles. I sat through it, mouth shut, mind racing. The other guys varied, some defiant, others broken. One, named Ryan, caught my eye, mid-20s with haunted eyes and a quiet intensity. We shared a cabin, and late nights brought whispered confessions. "I'm here because my wife found out," Ryan admitted one evening. Married young to please his evangelical parents. He'd hidden affairs with men for years. I thought marriage would cure it. His story mirrored my fears. The damage of denial. "Did it?" I asked. He shook his head. "It just hurt everyone more." The program drilled guilt. Homosexuality as sin, choice, addiction. Counselors probed our pasts, blaming absent fathers or overbearing mothers. I resisted, arguing in sessions. "What if it's just who I am?" I challenged. The response: more prayer, more isolation. Phone calls home were monitored, but I managed a quick one to Emily. "Get me out," I pleaded. She promised to talk to Mom, but doubt lingered. Meanwhile, thoughts of Enzo tormented me. Had he moved on? Dated Sarah? The betrayal festered, a wound that wouldn't heal. A turning point came during a confession circle. We were forced to share our sins. When my turn arrived, I stood. "My sin isn't being gay," I said, voice steady. "It's pretending I'm not to make others comfortable." Gasps rippled through the group. Uncle Mike pulled me aside, warning of consequences. But something shifted, defiance sparked hope. Ryan became an ally. "You're braver than I was," he said. We plotted escapes in hushed tones, but reality checked us. No money, no ride. Still, his support cracked my isolation. News from home trickled in. Mom visited on family day, her eyes tired. "Your father's struggling," she confided. "He misses you." I opened up about the program's cruelty. "It's not helping, Mom. It's breaking me." Tears flowed as she hugged me. "I'll talk to him." But Dad remained steadfast. In a letter, he wrote, "Stay the course. God will guide you." The words fueled my anger. Was faith a weapon now? Weeks in, a scandal rocked the camp. One counselor was caught with explicit material, hypocrisy exposed. Whispers spread, morale crumbled. I used the chaos to sneak a call to Mr. Larson. "Hang in there," he advised. "Document everything. You have rights." Emboldened, I confronted Uncle Mike. "This place is a fraud." He dismissed me, but seeds of doubt were planted. That night, Ryan shared his plan. He'd feign compliance to get out, then live authentically. "You should too," he urged. But faking it felt like another betrayal of myself. As release neared, Enzo reappeared in my thoughts. A smuggled note from Emily. "Enzo asked about you. He looks miserable." Part of me hoped for reconciliation, but resentment held firm. He'd chosen safety over us. Finally, the program ended. Dad picked me up, expectant. "Did it work?" he asked. I met his gaze.
No, Dad.
It made me realize I don't need fixing. The drive home was tense, arguments brewing. Reintegration was rocky. Friends avoided me. Rumors painted me as troubled. At a family dinner, tensions boiled. "I'm still gay," I announced. Dad exploded. "After all that money, all that effort?" Mom intervened. "Enough. We're a family." But the real shock came from Enzo. He showed up at my door, bruised emotionally. "I messed up," he admitted. "I told Sarah no, came out to my parents. They kicked me out. Homeless, jobless, he begged forgiveness. "I choose you now." Ambivalence surged. Trust shattered. Could we rebuild? I let him in, but warily. "You hurt me," I said. We talked through the night, dissecting decisions. His apology seemed genuine, born of loss. Society's backlash intensified. Enzo's dad disowned him publicly, calling it tough love. Protests at church targeted us indirectly, signs decrying moral decay. We faced it together, but cracks showed. "Is this worth it?" Enzo asked during a low moment. The question echoed my inner conflict. Love demanded sacrifice, but how much? As we navigated, a bigger threat emerged. Dad's ultimatum renewed. If you continue this, you're out. The family teetered on collapse. In a heated confrontation, secrets spilled. Dad admitted his own brother, my uncle, had been gay, dying alone after disownment. "I won't let that happen to you," he said, voice cracking. The revelation humanized him, exposing his fear as love twisted by prejudice. Forgiveness flickered, but choices loomed. Would I stay and fight or leave for freedom? The family meeting was Dad's idea, a last-ditch effort to resolve things. We gathered in the living room, me, Mom, Dad, Emily, and surprisingly Enzo, whom I'd invited for support. The air was thick with unspoken grievances, a powder keg waiting for a spark. Dad started, "We need to lay it all out. No more secrets." He confessed more about Uncle David. Shunned in the 80s, dead from AIDS complications, alone because the family turned away. "I regret it every day," Dad admitted, tears in his eyes. "But times were different." Mom nodded, squeezing his hand. "We don't want to lose you, Jordan." The vulnerability disarmed me. "Then accept me," I pleaded. Enzo chimed in, "We're not hurting anyone." Dad bristled. "It's not that simple. What about grandkids? Legacy?" The old arguments resurfaced, but softer, laced with pain. Emily spoke up. "Dad, times are different now. Look at my friends, half have gay parents or siblings. It's normal." Her words bridged generations, challenging his worldview. As the discussion deepened, mended fences emerged. Dad agreed to therapy, not conversion, but family counseling. "I don't understand it," he said, "but I'll try." It wasn't full acceptance, but a step. Enzo's presence helped. His own family's rejection highlighted the alternative. Post-meeting, life inched toward normalcy. Enzo moved in temporarily, sleeping on the couch under strict rules. We rebuilt trust slowly, dates in public testing waters. A picnic in the park drew stares, but we held hands defiantly. Society pushed back. At a local event, Enzo's dad confronted us. "You're ruining my life," he snarled.
Enzo stood tall. "No, Dad."
"You ruined yours." The exchange went viral on social media, our town divided. Support came from unexpected quarters. Mr. Larson rallied a LGBTQ group, offering resources. But victories cost. Work fired me under a flimsy pretext. Discrimination veiled as restructuring. Enzo struggled job hunting, his name tainted. We leaned on each other, but resentment simmered. "If you'd stood by me earlier," I snapped one night. He countered, "I was scared. Like you." The argument escalated, unearthing buried hurts. "You betrayed me," I yelled. Enzo fired back. "And you pushed me away after." We stormed apart, the relationship fracturing under pressure. Reconciliation came via Ryan, whom I'd stayed in touch with. Divorced now, living openly in Denver, he mediated over coffee. "Love isn't perfect," he said. "It's choosing despite the mess." His perspective healed wounds. As months passed, Dad's evolution surprised. He attended a PFLAG meeting with Mom, returning thoughtful. "I met parents like me," he shared. "They're happy now." Small gestures followed, inviting Enzo to dinner, asking about our day without judgment. Yet moral dilemmas persisted. When Emily's school debated LGBTQ curriculum, Dad wavered between old beliefs and new empathy. "Is it right to teach kids this?" he asked me. We debated civilly, bridging gaps. Enzo and I faced our own crossroads. A job offer in Seattle promised escape. Progressive city, fresh start. But it meant leaving family. What do we choose? Enzo pondered. Freedom or roots? The decision crystallized during a family crisis. Mom's minor heart scare. In the hospital, Dad hugged me. "I'm proud of you, son, for fighting." The words unlocked something. Forgiveness flowed. We chose to stay, building locally. Enzo started community college. I found work at an inclusive cafe. Our relationship deepened, tempered by trials. But not all healed seamlessly. Enzo's family remained estranged, a void he filled with ours. Society's acceptance was patchy. Allies grew, but bigots lingered. In quiet moments, I reflected on the path. The garage kiss, the camp, the betrayals. Each choice carried a price, pain for progress. As we settled into routine, a new conflict arose. Marriage. With laws allowing it, Enzo proposed casually one evening. Someday, the idea thrilled and terrified. Dad's reaction? Tepid support. If it makes you happy. The proposal sparked debates, moral, social. Was rushing in wise after turmoil? The wedding planning unearthed buried tensions, a microcosm of our struggles. Enzo wanted simple, courthouse, close friends. I dreamed bigger, a statement of defiance. Why hide? I argued. He relented, but doubts surfaced. What if my family shows up to protest? Invitations went out selectively. Dad offered to walk me down the aisle, a gesture that moved me to tears. You've taught me a lot, he said. Mom baked the cake, Emily designed decorations. Their involvement healed old wounds. Enzo's side was sparse. Estranged parents declined, but Ryan stood as best man. The ceremony loomed, nerves fraying. A leaked announcement drew media attention, our story becoming a local headline. Local gay couple defies odds. The day arrived, crisp autumn in Denver. The venue, a community center, buzzed with supporters. As vows exchanged, Enzo's eyes locked on mine. Through betrayal and loss, I choose you, he said. I echoed. In truth and trial, forever. Reception joy contrasted past pain. Dad toasted. To love in all forms. Applause erupted, but not unanimously, whispers from holdouts. Post-honeymoon reality bit. Job discrimination lawsuits drained energy, but victories came. My old boss settled, setting precedent. Years blurred, our life stabilizing. We adopted a dog, bought a house, built a chosen family. Dad softened fully, babysitting future kids if we chose surrogacy. But reflections lingered. Enzo's occasional melancholy over his parents' absence reminded me of costs. Was it worth it? He'd ask. Society evolved unevenly, laws advanced, but hearts lagged. Our story inspired some, enraged others. In the end, we stood resilient, scars badges of survival. Was Jordan's refusal to conform, even at the cost of family bonds and personal safety, ultimately the right choice?